name's Joseph. I'm from Salem Springs, and my text is James 5, verses 1 through 11. Have you ever hoped for something? Or are you hoping for something right now? If you are, what is it? The dictionary's definition of hope is either a feeling of expectation and desire for something to happen, or it's wanting something to happen or be the case. When I heard these definitions, I didn't think of the word hope. I thought the word want fit the definition a little better. If I put in a sentence, like say, I hope for this to happen, I would probably say, I want this to happen, not I hope for it to happen. Want is not as needing as hope. Hope is like, I really want this to happen, and I'm willing to work for it. Last summer, me and my brothers wanted to go to an amusement park we like called Magic Springs. So we decided we would save money by doing a lemonade stand. Halfway through the process of getting the money, my brothers didn't really want to get up and go work for it, set it up, try to get money. But I did, so I had to encourage them, set it up, help them to set it up. The reason my brothers didn't want to, because they only wanted to go to Magic Springs, and they weren't willing to work hard for it as much as I was. The reason we couldn't go to Magic Springs, just like the reason we had to work for it, is because my mom and dad are teachers, and you know, teachers have a hard job, but they don't get money. So, I mean, I've never felt poor because I save my money, but my brothers probably have. They spend all their money, and right now they have they either have like $5 or none. So I may not feel poor, but I also don't feel rich. James 5 verses 1 through 6 shows that the rich put hope in themselves and their money and their riches and things of worldly value. Verses 4 through 6 especially show this, and it says, "Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on the earth in luxury and self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you." These rich people, for the most part, they're invested in worldly value and not of unworldly value. It says that their rust and gold their gold and silver will rust when Jesus returns and in the last days. If you've ever lost your phone, maybe your favorite toy, or a pet, you'd want it back, and if you can't get it back, you'd want to replace it. But when Jesus comes back, the rich people will lose all that, and they can't replace it. So, Because the rich are putting their hope in themselves, saving their money, their energy, part of their life, they have a huge amount of money in their bank or something. It's okay to have a small amount of money that you just have in case something bad happens, but you shouldn't have so much money that you don't know what to do with it. If you put your hope in money and things of worldly value, they'll all go away and it'll be bad. But if you put your hope in God, in Him returning, you won't have rich people being overly rich. The world wouldn't be as bad, and you wouldn't have a self-centered problem. Well, we've talked about the rich people, but what about the poor people? We've talked about how the rich hoard their belongings and don't normally share. James 5, verses 7 through 10 talks about how you should be patient and steadfast when faced with a trial. Instead of trying to lash out or just give up and quit, ask God for help and wait for the trials to end. It explains that the poor should be patient and persevere through life's trials, because it isn't their job, but God's, to judge those who mistreat them. If the poor people don't worry and be self-absorbed in their own worry, then God could help them if they trust God. Jesus says that in Matthew 6, verse 25 through 36. Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Isn't life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds in the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is alive and is tomorrow thrown into the oven, will he not more clothe you, O you of little faith? Therefore, do not be anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? As you can tell, the poor should wait and hope for help from God, and God returning. Because if God helps the grass, the birds, and how much more will he love someone that he made in his own image? So, to conclude, do you have something you hope in? Or do you just have something you want? Something you'll eventually give up on and not work hard for? I haven't really put my hope in Jesus' return, but writing this sermon helped me realize that I probably should. I have money stored in the bank, just piling up. I'm not using it. So, if you do, like I do, are you going to just keep that money, or are you going to help the poor people who have nothing to hope for on earth and can only hope for God to help him and hope for him to return? So, are you going to put your faith in worldly possessions, or are you going to put your faith in Jesus and show that your faith is in him by using the money that's sitting there to help the poor?